A man faces more than a dozen charges after Lexington police say he has burglarized at least 15 homes in Lexington.
A fire which started at a sawmill caused problems all afternoon and into the evening as it spread here in Menifee County.
And a police chase in Scott County ends with a crash.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. We are tracking breaking news tonight out of Scott County, and that's where Georgetown police and firefighters are on the scene of a crash at an active meth lab. It's a very, very busy scene. Officers telling us a police chase ended at the Shell station on Outlet Center Drive near Cherry Blossom. A state police cruiser was hit during that chase. Monique Blair is live at the scene with the breaking details. Monique?
Good evening, Sam. Yes, this is still a very active scene behind me here. The scene started right about 10 o'clock tonight where Kentucky State Police say one of their troopers was trying to pull over a car that didn't have its lights on. That car was just at the Waffle House right behind this gas station here. Police say that car did not pull over and led the trooper on a short police chase, in the meantime hitting another trooper that happened to be in the area. There was only minor damage to that trooper vehicle and the trooper was not hurt. But then right after that car hit the trooper's car, the car went into the ditch right here in front of this gas station. The three people that were inside, two males and one female, got out of the car and started running, leading police on a foot chase. Police say they were caught very shortly after they led them on that short police chase. That's when police saw the car, got in the car, and realized there was an active meth lab inside. Police say all three of those suspects were then decontaminated here at the scene and then transported to a local hospital. Now, of course, this is still a very active, ongoing investigation, as you can see behind me, and we are going to continue following this and keep you updated with all the latest updates. I'm reporting live in Georgetown. Monique Blair with WKYT.
Monique, thank you. We'll continue to update that story on WKYT.com as well. It took firefighters hours to get it under control. Tonight, they're looking into what caused a fire at a sawmill on Highway 713 that spread to part of the Daniel Boone National Forest. You can see the smoke in this video Officer Don shot earlier today from Sky First. Garrett Weimer talked to a woman who lives nearby and watched the flames creep closer to her home.
Down up and watching all that.
Donna Davis spent the afternoon watching the flames get closer and closer to her home.
It's been awful all day. The smoke was thick. You couldn't see nothing.
The fire started here, down the road from Davis at Farrell's Sawmill, but the wind blew smoke and spread flames all afternoon, causing problems for folks all along here and Amos Ridge.
It's scary, real scary, because if it gets down close, I'm out of here. I am out of here.
Crews from several counties, not just Menifee, but Montgomery, Morgan, and Bath, as well as the Division of Forestry, spent all afternoon at the fire, but the sawmill was a total loss.
Pretty much starting from square one, so it's going to be tough. But
as Farrell's now faces the reality of having to rebuild what they lost, Tyler Farrell calls the fire that devastated the family business heartbreaking.
We've got, employees that depend on this job, and, my father and my grandfather started this business, 26 years ago.
Yet he's still thankful the fire wasn't any worse than it was. In Menifee County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Firefighters tell us the cause of that fire is still under investigation. Firefighters in Rowan County had their hands full tonight as well. We're told fire crews are at the scene of a brush fire on Rodburn Hollow Road in Morehead. The fire has been contained. Firefighters say the fire is all on federal land and is not near any homes. The cause of the fire is not known. Several families are looking for a place to stay tonight after a massive apartment fire in eastern Kentucky this afternoon. Firefighters say the fire happened at the Highland Heights apartment complex near Prestonsburg in Floyd County. Firefighters are not sure what started the fire, but they believe it began on a second-floor porch deck. From there, they say the wind caused the flames to spread. Firefighters were able to get everyone out, and no one was injured. Today's weather has been a recipe for fires. The Lexington Fire Department tells us they've responded to more than a dozen outdoor fires today alone. So the department has issued an open burning ban for Fayette County. That ban applies to all residents and businesses in the county. They're asking people to avoid any fires outdoors until after the ban expires.
We're also asking everyone to refrain from starting fires outside, like on construction sites or cooking fires. Even the burn permits that have been issued, we're suspending those till tomorrow morning.
The outdoor burn ban expires at 7 tomorrow morning. The dry weather will continue into tomorrow. The sunny, warmer temperatures will carry into Wednesday, but we have some changes coming up. And Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins. Chris, we've been talking about the wind today and tonight causing some problems.
Yeah, I had those winds at one point this afternoon, Sam, around 35 miles per hour. Good news, though, those winds have now calmed down in most areas now with not a whole lot of wind showing up. That is certainly some welcome news considering a lot of the brush fires that are ongoing into parts of central and eastern Kentucky. Somerset just had a gust of 22. Most areas, though, not getting in on a whole lot of winds, just more of a gentle breeze that is out there. Temperatures beginning to chill down from north to south. Now 40 showing up from Ashland to Covington. Most areas along 64 and north are right at the upper 40s to around 50 to the south. We're still flirting with 60 in a few cases. Why the temperature difference? We've got a cold front that is across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. Now it's actually kind of coming at us from the northeast. Look at the temperatures into parts of Columbus and Dayton into the upper 30s, yet 60 is still showing up into western Kentucky. That front will continue to drop a little farther to the south and kind of put the brakes on. Live First Alert Defender, nothing showing up along that front. Where do we go from here? Still nice for your Wednesday, though. Thunderstorms begin to bubble up Thursday into Friday. Sam, we'll track those and the better weather that rolls into town for Easter Sunday with the hour-by-hour forecast here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. He's accused of more than a dozen burglaries, and now Lexington police are looking for his victims. Officers arrested Robert Nicholas Britton, who admitted to stealing items from several homes and remembered what he took from each one. Earlier today, Monique Blair talked to one of the victims.
About 2 weeks ago, Steve, who lives in the Masterson Station area and wishes to keep his last name anonymous, came home from being out.
Went in the house, forgot to close the garage doors.
But then he remembered and went to close the door.
Came out an hour later. I realized there was an empty spot.
Steve's $400 lawnmower was gone, and Lexington police say for about 2 weeks, home burglaries similar to Steve's were happening all around the city. Then last Tuesday, police arrested 28-year-old Robert Nicholas Britton, the person they think is responsible for at least 15 burglaries.
What we're doing right now is working to get the goods that we have recovered from pawn shops in various places and get those goods reunited with the people that they were taken from.
Now, police say it's crucial that you keep your garage doors closed, especially as the weather gets nicer, because you just don't know when a burglar is lurking in your neighborhood. Steve says he actually didn't call police when he realized he was the victim of a burglary, but it was the suspect himself who told police.
Guy who did this apparently had agreed to take them around and show them the houses that he stole from. And he said he pointed my house right out.
Knowing the situation could have been much worse than a stolen lawnmower, Steve says he feels fortunate.
The door from the garage to the house was open, unlocked. He could have come in.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Police say Britton faces at least a dozen charges. It's been 6 days since 2 Wolfe County inmates escaped and still no sign of them. State police say cousins 19-year-old Dallas Trent and 23-year-old John Trent got away from the jailer while they were being transported last week. They were headed back to the Three Forks Regional Jail after a court appearance in Wolfe County. Officials say the transport car slowed down when the vehicle in front of them slowed because there was a dog in the road. They say that's when the inmates jumped out of the car and escaped. Jailers tell us that one of the inmates reversed the child safety lock when they got into the back seat, which allowed them to open the door from the inside.
We done some work on the doors. We took the door handles out and got them a little more secure.
And the Trents were in jail on robbery charges, and now they're looking at felony escape charges on top of that. Law enforcement agencies across Kentucky have been notified of the escape. 3 men have been arrested accused of shoplifting from one Perry County store and then robbing another one. Hazard police say the 3 men are from Johnson County and at least 2 of them will face charges. We're told they shoplifted from the Advance Auto Parts store, then went across the street and robbed the Dollar General. A clerk at that store says she confronted one of the men and he pushed her down. A Central Kentucky mother is searching for answers into what happened at a home that landed her sister in jail and her 14-month-old son in the hospital. Police tell us that the woman's sister, Angela Spoonemore, was drunk at a home in Garrett County while watching her nephew. Others at the home told police that Spoonemore tried to make her nephew drink alcohol and also threw him.
I don't know what happened because I have a recording of one of the girls that signed statements. And I was told at first she gave it to him, then she threw him to the floor, then she got up and he fell out of her lap. Come here. You can't.
Police say the investigation continues. Others were at the home, but Spoonemore was the only one arrested. UK's rodeo team got some real-life hands-on practice today when a steer got loose on campus. UK police said the steer escaped about 10 o'clock this morning when he was being offloaded at a campus research facility near Nicholasville Road and Cooper Drive. The steer got through an unsecured gate and was at the center of a hunt for nearly 2 hours. It wasn't until he was literally lassoed by a member of the UK rodeo team that he was caught.
I didn't think I was going to be needing it until practice tonight.
Well, those members of the rodeo team came in handy, and with the help of Bluegrass Stockyards, the animal was sedated, loaded into a trailer, and returned to the college unharmed.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Indiana's governor is promising changes to the state's controversial religious freedom law. Governor Mike Pence signed the state's religious freedom law last week, saying it would protect religious liberties from government interference. But critics say the wording of the law allows for discrimination and denial of service to gays.
We've got a perception problem here because some people have a different view.
The governor wants lawmakers to come up with legislation by the weekend that clarifies the law does not allow discrimination. Earlier today, Arkansas lawmakers passed a similar bill. The state's governor says he will sign it. A comedian and Lexington native is using humor to urge UK fans not to get too out of control. Etta May posted a video Monday to her Facebook page urging students to save the couch.
I never understood why a perfectly good piece of furniture has to die just because we win or don't win a basketball game.
Her video is attracting plenty of attention. So far, it has more than 150,000 views, and it's been shared thousands of times. Lexington city officials say burning indoor furniture outdoors is a code violation at any time of day or night. And since State Street and the surrounding area is best known for its wild post-UK basketball game celebrations, police are keeping a closer eye on rowdy people there. But it's not just police looking out for the younger crowd. UK employee Tom Atkins and his wife have lived on nearby Crescent Avenue for 11 years. And he tells us he keeps a pretty close eye on his property and makes sure that students don't get too out of control.
As you go along and rank, try to remember what it was like when you were, so you can kind of think of, okay, kid's gone out and done something stupid. Well, I did something stupid similar to that too.
Yep. Atkins works in the UK College of Dentistry. He says the best part of living on Crescent Avenue is being able to walk to work. Now, he's got the moves, and tonight he is showing them off. Peyton Henderson, remember him, whose dance moves at a Kentucky high school basketball game made him an internet sensation, surprised the Late Late Show audience by showing up at Studio 56 to dance with James Corden. You can watch that on WKYT at 12:30 tonight. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. He is something else.